Hey there, Amanda from the Happy Homestead. Today I need to make some breakfast sausage. We love breakfast sausage, and just recently we purchased an entire pig from a local farm that raises pastured pigs on non-GMO feed. And so we have a lot of ground pork. I have pulled out 7 pounds, 7 1-pound packages, and I'm going to open all these up, put them in a bowl, and then I'm going to mix in all of our spices and our herbs and show you basically how to make your own sausage. And you can do this with Italian sausage too. I'm doing this in a large batch. So the reason is because I want to kind of get this all done once and done. And then I'm going to vacuum seal it back into 1-pound packages as the sausage and then just pull it out as needed. You can easily do this 1 pound at a time. And I'm going to show you how the spices and the salt and pepper look for 1 pound, and I'll have all of the recipe information down in the show notes for you, so just sit back and relax. But you can easily do this the morning of or the night before. You don't have to do this in a larger batch way ahead of time if your schedule or brain, soul, body don't desire it. If you're not a planner, I guess is the better way to say that. I'm a planner. So let's get these opened up and get the ground pork in the bowl, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I have all of my pork out of the packaging in the bowl. I've got 2 things of spices here. I've got a bowl, right, and a plate, and I wanted to show this to you. So this is what 1 pound would look like, and then I just put the rest in here, right, for the remaining 6 pounds. So here's what we've got. We have 1 tablespoon dried sage. We have 2 teaspoons sea salt, 1 teaspoon freshly cracked black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1 tablespoon of thyme, and then we have 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper and 1/4 teaspoon each of onion powder and garlic powder. So that is what I put in as far as like spices and seasoning for our breakfast sausage. Now, what makes it, I think, just even that much better, takes it up a total another level, is some maple syrup. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons maple syrup per pound, as well as our home canned applesauce. Now, if you missed that video on how we made this, I'm going to link that up above here so you can watch that. So what's great about this is there's no added sugar within this applesauce, and you can see how beautifully deep this color is. It's really caramelized and thick, and so you can easily go buy some applesauce and put it in your sausage, but if you make it by yourself, you're gonna get that much more better of a product. And so we're gonna add 1/4 cup of applesauce per pound. So I'm gonna measure, I didn't measure out the applesauce or the maple syrup yet. I'm gonna do that. But the first thing I'm gonna do is just start dumping my spices in. I've got my onion powder clump here. My onion powder clumps up so much. So you might be wondering, why? Why would anyone do this when you can just go buy all of the sausage you would need, whatever flavor, etc. So if you've been watching me, this channel, any of my videos for any sort of time, you'll understand why we do the things we do. Because homemade is always best. There are no preservatives in this sausage or any of the foods that you make at home, right? No artificial preservatives, at least. There's no artificial flavorings, colors, all of that stuff. And so to us, that makes a difference. Now look, I'm just like anybody else. We'll go out to eat, and certainly we indulge from time to time with food that's not prepared here in the house. But I have to tell you, I notice a difference. If we go out to eat the next morning, I notice a difference in how I feel. I really do. So this is why we do it. We really want to put the most healthful food into our bodies to nourish ourselves and keep ourselves well and healthy. All right, all of our spices are in there. Let's get the maple syrup in there. So we were doing 2 tablespoons per pound, so we're gonna do 14 tablespoons. $10, $11, $12. I hope I have enough. $13. And so the maple syrup just adds that really wonderful maple flavor, right? Yeah, just enough. I need more maple syrup. Okay. And now let's add our applesauce. We're doing about a 1/4 cup. Now I'm gonna eyeball this a little bit. Yeah, that's about 1/4 cup, right, per pound, which is like gonna be so delicious. So 1. That's 3. I need to open another jar of applesauce. 4. 5. 6. 7. Smells so good already. Okay. Now the fun part. You do not need to use gloves. You can use your hands. I would not really recommend using a spoon. I would just use either bare hands or gloved hands, but hands in general. I prefer the gloves. And then just start really working it in. This is going to take a little time depending upon how much meat you have, right? So you really want to make sure you are breaking it up. Now some people, when they do this, they will then, get this all mixed in, cover this with plastic wrap, and put it in the fridge overnight. And then the next morning, they will take a small amount, fry it up, and taste it, right? So kind of like a taste test after the flavors have had a chance to come together for about, 12 hours or so overnight. I have done this with a previous batch, and honestly, it's a great idea, especially if you're new to something of this, this nature, making your own sausage and trying to develop the taste for what you and your family like. I'm not going to do that on this time because I have used this recipe before and I know that it works for us. But Everyone's different. Everyone's taste buds are different. So if you are uncomfortable with knowing if this is a good flavor profile for you, then I would recommend mixing it all together, covering it up, frying up a small piece, you know, just something like this, and then tasting it and see what you think. If it's perfect, if it needs more salt, needs more maple syrup, you know, whatever you think. But that is one way to go about it as well. The sausage or the pork is really cold. My hands are freezing. But I'm gonna take some time and I'm gonna get this all mixed and incorporated through. Everything's mixed up. It took about 5-6 minutes because it really was so cold and I wanted to be thorough, but everything is mixed. So you have some options here. Now remember, if you're doing a 1 pound package, 1 pound volume, you can just put that in the fridge and then cook that up within the next, I would say 24, 36 hours. I wouldn't go too much further than that. Any type of frozen raw meat that you then thaw, you usually want to use it within 1 to 2 days at the most. So if you're doing this, use it up within the next day or two max. Otherwise, you can freeze it, which is what I'm gonna do. Now, as I'd mentioned, I'm going to portion this back out into 1 pound patties, balls, just amounts, and I'm going to vacuum seal it and then freeze it. If you don't have a vacuum sealer, that's okay. Just portion it out into your 1 pound, I cannot think of the word I wanna say. My brain is not working today, y'all. Balls. I'm just gonna say balls. Portion it out into your 1 pound ball and wrap it really tight in plastic wrap. And then I would then put that plastic wrapped ball in a freezer safe Ziploc bag, you know, freezer safe bag. You might be able to get a couple into a gallon sized bag, but you want to make sure that it's wrapped tightly in the saran wrap, the plastic wrap, and then again in a freezer safe freezer bag that you can then keep in your freezer, and then pull out 1 pound increments at a time as you need them. And that's exactly what we're going to do. All right, so I need to go get the vacuum sealer set up and get this done. What's wrong? I love you. You have treats down at your food. Okay, all of the bags are labeled with the date and then what's in them, the contents. So let me get my scale. I am going to weigh all of these, like get all of these full and weigh them, and then I will do the sealing. So I'm actually just going to use my hand for this. And so obviously this is not sausage links, right? Clearly. It would be sausage patties. But it can also then be used as ground breakfast sausage, which sometimes we use that for like to add into quiches or, you know, some type of egg breakfast casserole. It's pretty good. But as I mentioned in the beginning too, we do the same thing for Italian sausage, ground Italian sausage. Again, obviously not in the links. I'm trying not to get this all over the bag. That one I sometimes make ahead of time. The Italian sausage I actually just kind of do within, you know, a day of using it for dinner. Do not feel like you need to get these exact. I'm trying to just get pretty close so they're somewhat close in weight. And they are a little over a pound because, you know, the spices have a weight, the applesauce has a weight, so it's not going to come out at exactly 7 pounds. And therefore, you're not going to necessarily get exactly 1 pound each packages. But you can get pretty close. Key for us is I just want these to be somewhat even. Okay, so all 7 bags are full, and guys, I obviously have some pork left here. So that's what I was talking about with, you know, you're not going to necessarily have 1 pound each just because of the nature of the weight of everything else. So now what I'm doing, and this is also why I'm filling all of the bags before vacuum sealing them. Okay, all bags are full. They're all a little over a pound. Some are heavier than others. It's just how it happens. No big deal. So let's get vacuum sealing. And I say that, right, because I just don't want you to get hung up on having each one be exact. It's not necessary. And after you fill them and seal them, you can even weigh the bags again and then write the weight on the bag. Last one. And that's it. So now we have 7 pounds of maple herbed breakfast sausage. I don't have a name for it. I probably should come up with one. But you've got now your breakfast sausage in your freezer for whenever you need it, and you know exactly what's in it. If you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to offer any suggestions with maybe some recipes that you've tried and what you like to put in some of your breakfast sausages. I'm always willing to try new things as well. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. I try to make it fun, make it entertaining, but also really show you some of the things that you can do at home to make yourself and your family live a much more sustainable and simple life. Thanks so much for all of your support and wonderful comments. Stay healthy, stay well. See you next time.